Hi, I'm here at the League-Kempner house in Galveston. For those of you who have been watching this, you know me. I'm Janie. I'm the president of the nonprofit. And for those of you who are new, you picked a good video to jump in because this is our annual recap of everything that went on in 2024. And it's so much, I have multiple pages of cheat notes. But let's just back up a tiny bit and talk about who we are and what we are. We're a nonprofit set up to restore this incredible house. And it's been 2 years since the deed was first transferred over into the nonprofit name. And it's been a very busy 2 years. The first year of that was a lot of catching up on paperwork and things that weren't so fun, but work still went on at the house. We built up a lot of steam and we hit the ground running in 2024. So much went on. It's just been a crazy year, and that's why I had to go and make a list. I was afraid I would forget some of the things that happened. Let's just recap some of the highlights. So we had the issue with the sidewalk. Our volunteer/inspector Walter hit us up for having that crumbling, unsafe sidewalk, which, if you recall, I actually turned my ankle and broke it on a sidewalk in the back. So that had to come out and we had to prepare for a new sidewalk. We jumped in January right after that with a lot of work in the basement, getting our brand new concrete floor poured. And that was a huge event for us. It was a muddy mess down there. We had taken out the old cistern. We had to pull up the old floor. We had to get our new plumbing put underground. There was a lot of work that had to go on before that floor could go in. So we were so excited to see it poured because it really kind of helped us jumpstart a lot of work that needed to be done down there, particularly getting our bathrooms in. But we also had a big structural issue with that floor. We had that beam that had to come out, it had to go in, it had to come out, it had to go in. A lot of work down there, finishing up the structural support in the house. We got Ricardo back, which was fun to have him to put in a door for us. We had one last opening that just had plywood that was propped up and had, I don't know, all kinds of bracing and cinder blocks holding it up. It had been kicked in and broken into a couple of times. I don't know why we didn't do it sooner, but we got a regular door put in. Unfortunately, when we did that, we had to lower the threshold, and that let water start coming in when we got those big torrential fast rains, and water couldn't drain out fast enough from our U-shaped area. So we had water things going on in the basement, lots of shop vacuuming and cleaning up down there. But we were hoping that with our new roofing, which was another big project, that we would get that problem solved. If you watched our videos, you know the roofing didn't go so well. We had huge rain delays. We had all kinds of problems. And then right after we got the roof on, we had a hurricane that came and did some damage to the house. So that kind of took up our summer. That was very busy. But, oh, I forgot one thing that was very important. In the fall, we got our curved windows put in finally in the parlor. That has been a 3-year process getting that area fixed. We had a lot of work you saw on the sashes, getting them stripped and painted, everything reglazed. McNatt Construction doing all the work to build the frames and come install those. And then, of course, that led to a mad dash trying to get the curved shutters fixed that go on the outside before hurricane season. That didn't happen. Fortunately, Hurricane Beryl didn't damage our windows. But what I thought would be a simple project to strip and sand and paint those turned into probably 300 man hours of labor just to get them where they are right now, and they're not finished. We are almost ready for a final coat of paint. We also did some fun things. Heather and I faux painted our stained glass windows. Heather also faux painted our new door outside, trying to improve the overall aesthetic of the house and the quality of the tours that we give. We also spent a lot of time down in the chauffeur's quarters trying to get that ready to be an apartment, and we spent a lot of time on that sink that came out of the butler's pantry, getting it stripped and cleaned up and painted. We did a lot of framing down there to get the bathroom and the walls put up, and that led us to having 2 functional toilets in the house because Kona Plumbing came in, did a lot of plumbing work to get that done before a couple of events we had. But that necessitated ripping out the ceiling in the sunroom. So fixing one thing leads to problems with another. But all in all, we got our toilets in. That was a big hallelujah moment for us. We were so happy with that. Fire safety also took center stage. We had the fire marshal come in, do a review of the house, give us some tips and pointers. We have all new fire extinguishers. We're understanding more of the rules going forward, and that's going to inform a lot of what we do in 2025. And then another fun thing we did is we hung a chandelier in the parlor. It's not the one that'll be there permanently, but right now we think it looks great and it gives a nice sense of feel to the room. Oh gosh, so many things that we did. And let's not forget Joe and the cleaning that went on in this house and our volunteers. We had so many events. The house was a mess. It looks better today than it ever has. It's been scrubbed within an inch of its life. Everything is clean and spotless, and we're about to mess that up because we are going back into full-blown work mode for 2025. But through our events in October and through Dickens and all of our fall events, we did manage to keep it looking clean and looking nice. Joe's standing over there filming. Anything else I missed? I'm sure I missed a lot. It was a very, very busy year. A lot of trash hauling, a lot of concrete hauling, a lot of work in the yard. It just
scraping the floor in the sunroom.
Scraping the floor in the sunroom. Let's not forget that Joe spent a month.
Of course, I would mention that. Getting the windows operational, all the plywood.
Yes, we took all the plywood off the windows on the first floor, a lot of it in the basement, getting everything light and bright in here. And I don't know how I could have possibly left off my list all the work that went into repairing and restoring those big vents for the roof, and then all of the scraping and painting that I did in 90 plus degree weather this summer to do all that fascia work and the side gable. I added up that Heather and I spent over 100 hours on those vents, and I spent at least 160 hours up on that boom. But in the end, the roofing work did get done. The vents got back in their rightful place, and I also forgot about our incredible new copper gutters that got installed. It was a very busy year for the house and construction activities. But let's back up and talk a little bit about the nonprofit side of it. We're a nonprofit. We have to raise our own money, and that means having events. And all that mad push for the bathrooms and the cleaning had to do with those events. We were very busy. We had the steampunk event. We had 2 metaphysical nights. We participated in Dickens on the Strand. We participated in the League City White Linen Night, the East End Historic District Association garden tour, Dead Edgar event, and of course our very first full-blown festival on site, the Ghost Coast event, which was huge for us and raised over $7,000. We've also gone on a full-blown kind of information campaign. I've been giving a lecture series at the UTMB Adult Continuing Education. Our volunteer PAT has also kicked off a partnership with Ball High School, trying to get young people involved in the house. So not only are we attracting more volunteers throughout the community, we're trying to grow our own by getting these students involved in the house. That's just getting started and ramped up at the end of the year here. We're really hoping to involve them much more in 2025. So let's talk a little bit about the money. We talked about the need to raise money. We raised $93,000 this year. Now, a big chunk of that came from grants in the form of the Eliza and Harris Kempner Fund grant for our roof. That was $40,000, and $3,000 from Clean Galveston for our greenhouse. But we also raised $22,000 in just donations from individuals like you. We made $16,000 on events, and we made $12,000 on tours. So that's a good start. We really want to expand and maybe double our tours next year, double our events. We need to seek out further grants. But let's talk about where we spent the money. We spent $79,000 of that on direct restoration here at the house, and $15,000 in insurance, and $8,000 just maintaining the yard, and that's mowing and we had a couple $1,000 expense to trim some dangerous trees. So you can see almost every penny that we raise goes directly into the house. We have no paid staff. We can't avoid that insurance. We have $3,000 or $4,000 in electricity, water, internet to run our alarm system. But really, the bulk of what we raise goes straight into restoration. So all in all, we almost broke even, and that's a little bit by design because we have to manage our cash very carefully. So I take a close look at the money coming in, and we really ramp that construction side up and down. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about YouTube here in you guys. So in 2024, we had 334,000 views. That's 100,000 more from last year. We added over 1,100 new subscribers. That's actually down less than half of the new subscribers we added last year, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And we made $2,100. So that seems like a lot of work for not a lot of money, but it's well worth it in our eyes. One, we like sharing the process of restoring this house with you. Not everybody can be here and come tour. We also use our YouTube videos as a way to document the process. So part of a historical restoration is documenting what you do. It's very hard to do written documentation, so we film a lot. You see kind of the tip of the iceberg, but it gives you a good overview of what's going on, and it's something that in the future people can go look at and see exactly how work was done and what was done. Now, we met a few great milestones. I think we did not miss a single Sunday video this year. That was a goal of ours, to be consistent in our posting. We also did 11 lives, 38 shorts, and a total of 60 full-length videos. So what's going on with subscribers? We get this question all the time. We don't understand why you don't have more followers. You should be up there with some of the other big restoration channels. Well, we have a hard time chasing the algorithm. YouTube is constantly changing how it measures you and how it decides to push your videos out. And this year it stopped pushing our videos out completely because I think we don't offer memberships. So YouTube is really pushing hard on memberships. We've been hesitant to do that because to do memberships, it means you need more content. And we have a hard enough time with the content that we have right now, getting it out consistently. And if we do memberships, we don't want to take away from what our non-paid viewers get to see. We don't want to detract anything or remove anything that we already do. But we are at a point, I think, where we can roll out memberships for 2025. So we will be doing that. So look for some more announcements about that in the future. We do care about our subscribers. We don't care if we have 100,000, but we would like to maybe double where we are, because not only do we get the YouTube revenue, but you guys also contributed about $3,000 of those donations that we received. And that's buying us a cup of coffee, a handshake, whatever it is, going to the website and donating. And you came to tour. We have had people from all over the country and from Canada who found us on YouTube and made a special trip to Galveston to come see the house. And that means a lot to us. So we want to keep doing that and sharing this house with all of you. So I'm going to have Joe pick up the camera now and follow me around, and let's talk about what's going to happen in 2025. We do not have the Harris and Eliza Kempner grant again. They actually shut their fund off for grants in 2025 while they did a thorough review of their process and how they grant to make sure they're serving the community. They're opening that back up, and we will be applying for grant money to come to us in 2026. But we have to make it through a year without that big chunk of money coming in, and we can do that. So a couple of things going on. One, we use a lot of the money that comes in for paid skilled craftsmen. So you've seen Ricardo here doing all the masonry work, the plumbers coming in. We have a little electrical work to do. So we need to hoard that money to pay for the things that we need to pay for. I mentioned volunteers earlier. We've got a great group of volunteers, and we gain a few more each month. And we are going to be tackling more and more volunteer projects. A lot of the work you saw last year was done by volunteers. So this house has some things that are very, very labor intensive and have very little material costs. So that's the focus we will have with our volunteers in 2025. So let's start with a really big one. Joe, let's head to the kitchen. So if you've watched these videos from the beginning, you know that the kitchen is my personal favorite room in the house. I don't know why. I just love it. I think it's the fact that it's still the original Victorian kitchen, that it never got gutted out and had a modern kitchen put in. It's just almost like the day this house was built. And it was in near perfect condition. So I thought. So after doing all that work in the basement, sadly, what has happened is we have learned that the floor to the kitchen is not stable and it's probably a little bit unsafe. So we have the rule of safety first. So something has to be done down here. We can't do any more work under the kitchen in the basement until we get the issue resolved. And it pains me. It's personally very hurtful, but we are going to try to salvage everything in the kitchen. Basically, we have to demolish everything. We're going to try to salvage everything and put it back the way it is, but it's going to be a very tedious process. We have to remove the floor and we have to remove the tile from most of the walls. And it's a lot more difficult than you would think, and we'll get into some detailed videos about that. But this is clearly something that's going to take a lot of manpower, a pretty delicate touch, and something that the volunteers can do. So we'll have to first fix our doors, get the kitchen blocked up, unblock our entrance to the porch so we have a way to come in and out. But we will start dismantling this kitchen probably in January.
If that helps.
Okay, this is very dark and hard to see, but you've seen this space before. It's underneath the grand staircase, and it used to be a half bath and a coat closet. So a lot of work has already been done under here. We shored this up the very first year we worked on the house. Ricardo did a ton of work. We have new flooring down, but we did a lot of demolition. But this is something that can be put back by volunteers. There's a lot of scraping to do. We have some plumbing to do, but we want to get this back as a functioning half bath this year. So Kelly, our volunteer, has already started work. It tends to be a catch-all where we throw everything we don't have a place for. So once again, she has taken everything out. We're starting to clean. We've got a little more stuff in here to get out, but this will be a big focus of attention for us. And our goal is to use our volunteers a little more effectively, that they can have standard projects they work on. So Kelly is going to be in here kind of dedicated to paint removal, cleanup, and getting the work done here. We'll train other volunteers on removing the tile in the kitchen so that when they do come work, they can just come and get started and get going. Even if we're busy and they can't get instructions that day, they'll know what to do and can get at it. Another easy project, well, not so easy because it's proved a little difficult, but another achievable project for us is restoring and scraping and painting all of our porch detail. That means the rail, the balusters, and our columns, because that can all be done safely by volunteers. It is a lot of elbow grease and a lot of work, but the cost of it is just a little bit of primer and paint. So this is something we've already started, but we'll continue on and hopefully finish this year. We have spent so much time on this house talking about water. We are going to talk about it through 2025, but hopefully that will be the end of it. I'm hoping that you saw the gutter installation before this goes out. I think I'm almost caught up on videos, but We have our beautiful new gutter to bring water down. Now we've got to get the water moving away and over to our retention pond. So our volunteer Alfred has already donated a bunch of PVC pipe. We just have a lot of digging to do. And unlike some of our other projects where we just kind of say, oh, it's kind of temporary, this is more permanent. So we have to be a lot more precise in how we do this. So we'll start getting into this work in early videos in 2025. But Kelly and I dug a little temporary trench just to move water. It's got a little back slope to it, so we have a lot of work to do in this area. And then, so this is one of those things that's just labor intensive, but easy enough to do. That big lift that we had that we did the rest of the roof work with was so heavy, and it just crushed our concrete here. You've seen it in the sidewalk. There's no steel in here. It's just very thin concrete. But we wanted to take this up anyway. We were going to have to break it out with sledgehammers. It just did kind of the work for us. So we're going to be taking this back to the garage, cleaning this up, grading it out. It is a safety hazard. This is where I broke my ankle stepping right here. So we need this. Let me show you. we have a family history of me demonstrating things and doing it for a second time. So maybe I shouldn't do that. They say your bone is stronger where it's healed. So anyway, this is where that unfortunate event happened. So this will come out. We're going to clean that up after we lay all of our drainage system. We have some donated pavers. We're going to put some pavers in and do some walkways in here to make this look even better. And last but not least, let's not forget, y'all have been seeing a lot of greenhouse work going on. So our volunteer Sherry and her husband Roman have taken this on along with the Ball High School Career and Technology Education Group. We'll be doing a full restoration of the greenhouse in stages. So we have a little money from Clean Galveston this year. The work's already started. We're at the stage where we're starting to source the lumber for that. So that's exciting. Between the work on the drainage, cleaning this up and getting this done, the backyard's going to look great. And that's important, getting back to those events that we have scheduled for the coming year. We really need to utilize the space to earn some money for the house.
Myself, my annual
Just stay over there.
haircut.
Stay over there. So, Joe's with me to say thank you and conclude the year, but she's sick and I'm not letting her anywhere near me, so you can wave. But that's it for a recap for this year. We do have a lot of exciting things coming up in 2025. Thanks for sticking with us. We know we're not professional videographers. Does it show? But we love what we do. We love our volunteers and we love this house and we love you. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Take care and we will see you in 2025.